These are the grits I will be using today. These are Bob's Red Mill corn grits, also known as polenta. You know, out of all the grits, we have come to really like these a lot more than like the white grits in other brands. So these are pretty good. So we'll be making this in kind of like a breakfast brunch type of meal today. So okay, let me try this again. So so I decided to have some local beef bacon with my corn grits today, and probably some eggs. Not sure how I'm gonna cook the eggs yet, but this beef bacon is local from a Colorado butcher my sister goes to, and this beef bacon is actually pretty good. I never heard of beef bacon up until about 2 or 3 weeks ago myself. You can see these slices are pretty big, much bigger than a average slice of bacon, pork bacon. They don't cook down as much as regular bacon, so they'll cook down a little bit smaller than this, but not too small. So that's why I'm only having about 3 slices of this. Grits and eggs. Let's do it. All right, so I'll be using about a cup of water, a little over a cup of water, because I'm not too big on measurements. So I'll say I'm making a little over 1/4 of a cup of the grits and about a cup of water. All right, so this is how the beef bacon turned out. I didn't really have a set time on there, and there goes my timer. I just kind of, well, I did set it. I set it on about 13-ish minutes, and that's what it looks like after I did flip them one time halfway. Did render a lot of fat out of those, and they shrunk down a little bit. They're still pretty good sizes for bacon, still bigger than I think the average slice of bacon. So that's how they look. All right, so here are the grits after they have cooked down. This is nothing in this except for the salt that was in the water that I put in there before actually putting the grits in there. So what I'm going to add now is some grass-fed butter. I'm going to taste it and see if it needs any more salt. I doubt it. I put a good bit of salt in the water beforehand. I think that actually tastes better when you salt the water versus when you put the salt in after cooking. So I'm gonna do some salt. Excuse me. I'm gonna do some butter and some heavy cream, and we'll just start there. Okay, so there's my heavy cream and butter before I stir it, and after I stir everything together, I'm gonna taste it and see if it needs any more salt. It is kind of cooking a little bit more still. So another thing I'm gonna add is this. I have this sweetener. This is Lakanto monk fruit sweetener. So a little bit earlier, a few months ago, me and my sister took on like trying a keto diet, and so for me, you know, I go back and forth with my carbs. Obviously, I'm having grits, but one thing for sure, I am not eating sugar at the moment. So I'm kind of up and down my carbs. I have days where I don't eat carbs, days where I do eat a little bit of carbs, like some grits or I don't know, maybe a potato. So, but for sure, we're not really eating sugar at the moment. At least I'm not. So I'm using this a little pinch of this Lakanto monk fruit sweetener. It does not have a an aftertaste to it like regular sweeteners like stevias or Splenda, anything like that. It's very natural. As you can see, zero glycemic, ketogenic, non-GMO. We have all the stuff down here: gluten-free, vegan, zero additives, sugar-free. So this is good stuff. So try this out. This cost me about $8 at my local grocery store. Okay, so I mixed that up. It's pretty good, but since I did use unsalted butter, unsalted grass-fed butter in this, I am going to add a little bit more salt, because I mean, I guess I did use a lot of water in this. And actually, I would prefer mine a little bit thicker. Thicker in texture, slightly thicker. I don't like super thick grits, but I'm gonna let this cook down a little bit more with a little bit more salt in it, maybe a few more minutes, so they can just thicken up. But other than that, they are delicious. As far as that sugar goes, I don't know if I said it, I only put a pinch in here. I do not do sweet grits, sweet grits, but that sugar does bring out it brings out the savory flavors a little bit more. So that's the only reason I would use any kind of sweetener in this. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and go to my eggs. I'm doing a couple of these Organic Valley organic free range large eggs. I'm just going to do 2 today. I'm going to do some cheese in these eggs, and also some chives are really good, these dried chives. And yeah, it's a really good flavor with the chives and the cheese together in the eggs. So far I have the salt, pepper, the chives. I have a splash of half and half in there just to make it a little more creamy. When I'm whisking it up, it just makes the eggs more fluffy, actually, after you cook them. And also put a little bit of dried onion powder. This dried onion powder in there to bring out the taste of the chives a little bit more. So I'm just going to give this a whisk before I put the cheese in there. I'm going to put the cheese in here, and then I'll scramble them.